Hello and welcome to My Unpopular Opinions. This is New Year. The year is 2025, and there have been some changes globally and locally. For example, I'm wearing wigs now and I don't hold my mic in my hand anymore. So let's see if it allows me to express myself more while talking about things. So today I want to talk about something that is incredibly annoying to me, not to anyone else, I guess, because these are my toxic traits. And the catch is that these traits make me toxic not towards other people, but towards myself. So I have a list here. Let's get to it. So, number one, believing that there is a bigger story. So when a person is acting like an asshole or disappears or doesn't do what they promised to do or whatever, I always tend to believe that there is something else happening. And whatever they didn't do, for example, like it was not a priority because a bigger thing was happening and they were hurt and they have trauma and they got triggered and whatever. And it might be true, but it should never justify shitty behavior because I would just justify it like, yeah, but like they had a reason to be an asshole. Sometimes when someone's an asshole, you just have to accept that yeah, they're being an asshole to you and this is not okay. Even if they have a really good explanation to it, it's their responsibility to present this explanation, whether right now or maybe later or apologize or whatever. But it is not my job to constantly assume that there is something happening and just forgiving them left and right and just assume that, yeah, like it's okay. It's okay. Making myself small, hoping that there is a bigger, more important story somewhere over there. And there might be, there might not be, but it just, it's just fucked up to be do that, to be doing that. It's like I don't want to keep doing that. And I think now this is the beginning of a year. I feel like I'm purging things and I'm talking about things that I'm really not taking with me in the new year. And it is assuming and fantasizing that there is a bigger story. There are lots of details that I don't know, and the other person is an asshole for a very, very good reason. Sometimes it can happen. Most of the time, it actually is not true. They're just being an asshole because they're an asshole. And I think that I will just start accepting their behavior for what it is instead of trying to justify them and analyze things. Oh my God, yeah, like I know that there was something going on, whatever. Whatever. I have something going on in my life as well, and I don't have time or energy to be fantasizing about whatever is going on in other people's lives. If they want to let me know, they will let me know. If they're not letting me know, and I mean, like I can still be very open and make sure that they know that I'm willing to hear the story if there is a story. But whatever, I'm not wasting my energy on this shit anymore. Okay, number two. It's pretty much the same, but not exactly. Understanding the person's situation to the extent that I ignore my situation. This is my favorite actually, because I am a reflector and I genuinely enjoy reflecting on past experiences. I really enjoy picking out some details, picking out some wisdom, some information, lessons, and trying to work on myself and improve myself, finding my patterns, trying to replace the dysfunctional patterns with better ones. Uh, and I just caught myself guilty. I'm so guilty of understanding the other person so well, being so fucking empathetic and so fucking sweet and understanding and nice, that I would literally ignore myself. And this is fucked up. Honestly, like, this is so fucked up. Why the fuck would I do that to myself? Because I have my own life. I have my problem. I have so many difficult situations going on in my life. Honestly, like, I like, there is no space for anybody else's shit, objectively. And then I would just get so involved and so understanding that I will just ignore all my shit. And the thing is that most of the time, the other person's shit is like it's not even comparable in size with mine. And yet I would just reduce my big shit to the tiny one and make their shit seem so big and so important that I will just fucking ignore myself. And this is so fucking toxic. Why would I do that? And now that I am aware, I'm like so vigilant about this shit because what the fuck? I really, like, I don't have words for that. Why would I do that to myself? And then I, of course, I can go back and dig and see how my parents made me this way. But you should never do that. It's important to be understanding. And I've had a lot of situations in my own life when something was not exactly what it looked like. There was like a bigger story behind it, and it was very different. And most people would assume wrong things about like different situations, while it was something completely different. And it made me realize that if this is true for me, it definitely should be true for other people as well. But this is a very uncommon truth. And for most people, it does not apply. And for a really long time, I just used to believe that it might not be what it looks like, because I've had so many experiences when something looked like one thing but was another thing. So it might be, no, for most people, it's not true. For most people, whatever it looks like, it is exactly what it looks like. Whatever they say, it is exactly what they mean. Whatever they did is exactly what they wanted to do, what they intended to do. There is no background story, there is no bigger meaning. It's just as simple as that. And even if in my own life it is not as simple as that, that does not mean that for everybody else it's also the case. And honestly, I'm genuinely looking for people who are more like me and whose lives are not that usual, and people who have like a bigger story to whatever is happening to them. But the truth is, most people are not like that. And I have been wasting this really nice trait. This is a really nice trait. But if it is used on wrong people, it becomes very toxic towards me. And I realized that I'm really bad at spotting red flags in people, whether it's like romantic or friendship, platonic shit. And I'm just like, what? Like, signs were there. It was very obvious since the beginning that there was something off, that this person is not someone you should trust. But I would just believe in them. And I was like, yeah, but it might not be what it looks like. Sometimes it's not, but like 99.99999, it is exactly what it looks like. And I am not the measure of all people. Unfortunately, I guess, but I am not. So by assuming that my own experiences shaped me a certain way, that it means that other people have experienced life exactly the same way. And if I was wearing their shoes and was in the same situation, I would be doing that or behaving that or feeling that, does not mean that they are definitely experiencing it the same way. Absolutely not. And I should absolutely stop measuring people by myself. Yeah. Okay, the next one, donating myself. This is a really interesting one. a friend of mine recently just randomly kind of brought, like, she literally like said it in a really like interesting way. We were talking about something, and like there are situations in which we are basically two opposite sides of a spectrum. And she was like, wow, like I'm like the exact opposite of you, and you're literally like donating yourself to people. And I'm like, that is a really good phrasing. It just makes so much sense. What the fuck? Because we know the phrase of people selling themselves, whether again like professionally for a job, to other people. Selling yourself is actually not a bad thing. It's looked on as a bad thing. It is not a bad thing, because when you sell yourself, you give something and you get something. You take something. Other people might not be willingly giving it, but you just take it. And sometimes you sell yourself cheap, sometimes you sell yourself properly. And apparently, if you are really good at it, you will get much more than you give. And usually, people who do that, like, they're looked on as like, oh my God, they're terrible people. Are they really? Are they? I'm not exactly sure anymore. I used to think they were bad. Now I feel like I am bad because I donate myself. I just give out my resources for free, not expecting anything back, and then just getting robbed. Getting robbed every single time. And then I have no resources and I crawl back and I try to generate some more resources to only be robbed again and then again and fucking again. So I don't think that people who sell themselves, I mean, like, I mean, metaphorically here, but like at this point, no judgment at all for any kind of selling yourself. Mm, for real, because what is worse is donating yourself. And I know that there are some people who believe in stuff that is not real. Um, um, they would say that this is the best thing. You have to be selfless. You have to help others. You should not want things for yourself. And this is such a bullshit. This is such a bullshit because, like, I am my own person and it is my responsibility to provide things for myself. And it is everybody else's responsibility to provide things for themselves. And once you focus on yourself and you try to make sure to create good conditions for yourselves, it's not about completely ignoring and just using and stealing from other people. Not at all. That's not what it is believed it is. It is about when you care about people, by enriching their lives, you automatically enrich yours. It's about the exchange, but it's about being aware of what resources you have, what you want to give, what resources you lack, and communicating and exchanging things. So I realized that I actually have been even more selfless than I thought I was, in a very fucking toxic way. Because I would just get drained by other people and then they would just leave. So it is very important to be aware of your capacity and to just fucking care about yourself enough to not allow that to happen. It's crazy. Donating yourself, it's literally giving away the things and not receiving anything back. And you should not be doing that. And it's not materialistic and it's not selfish. It's a balance. If you come to a supermarket to get your favorite, I don't know, whatever, like snack, if you keep buying it and nobody's restocking it, it will be gone. You will never be able to get it back, right? So somebody has to be doing something else, whatever, like, not the best metaphor, but whatever came to my mind right now. There must be a balance. The universe is balanced. So donating yourself, you literally break the laws of the universe. Don't do that. Don't do that. You'll get fucked. And you always are fucked if you just donate yourself. Yeah. Anyway, Yeah, measuring others by myself. I think I actually mentioned that already. Okay, that's a good one too. Helping others heal so that they leave me and go build a happier lives with other people. That is such a toxic trait. Fucking hate it. So the thing about me is that I I am kind of obsessed with healing. I have a lot of trauma. I have a lot of things, and I really don't want these things to dictate how I live my life. I want to make sure that I do as much healing as I can, and probably full healing is not a thing. But I really don't want to be repeating the same things over and over again. I don't. I want to learn my lessons. I want to improve my life. I want to improve the relationships I have with other people and definitely with myself. So I have been very devoted to like therapy, self-help, all like anything I can find. I truly enjoy it because I see how the quality of my life goes up. But in order to do that, of course, you have to face a lot of discomfort, a lot of pain, a lot of shit, a lot like you have to meet your dark side, you have to accept your dark side, you're gonna piss off lots of people, you're gonna lose a lot of people. But honestly, it's always for the better. And this is how I live life. And because I see progress, so I've been doing it for more than 10 years now, and I definitely see a lot of progress. Even if when it feels like, I'm just, it's not getting better, it does get better all the fucking time. And when I see this, and then I see like everybody has traumas, everybody has bad patterns and stuff, I really want to help them. And I guess it's also connected to donating myself in a way because most of the time people are not asking for it. Um, but I am so devoted to that, and I see such a big progress in myself that I willingly become other people's therapist, other people's coach, mother, whatever, whoever. And I actually succeed at helping them heal, whether they like actively realize it or not. They become better at setting boundaries at my expense because then I will be the one who will be encouraging them, and then they will only have me as a person they're comfortable setting boundaries with. For example, right? Or people pleasing. I really address people pleasing a lot in my life. I talk about it a lot. I have a video about people pleasing. I have a video about parent pleasing, which is a more specific kind of people pleasing. And I really encourage people to pay attention to these tendencies because all people pleasers agree that it hurts them to be this way. And then guess who is going to be the first person they're just going to try to train withdrawing from? It's going to be May, obviously. And it's all right, it's okay. But at the same time, I just do it so much that I feel like I lose people a little bit too often, which in a way is probably good. Like you don't need people you don't need, but at the same time, it's just like, come on, I need a break. So what happens? What happens is, for example, I can see in relationships too. Like I would really focus on healing myself, on helping the other people heal, and um, it kind of looks like I just help them heal stuff so that they can go and enter their really happy relationships with the next person. And I'm like, you're welcome. But yeah, I feel like I'm just like kind of this coach that just helps people heal and is just kind of thrown away once it's done. So maybe I should be doing less of that unless somebody actually comes and asks for it. And also, I feel like I should actually start charging for it because, as I mentioned before, they balance. Of course, it's great to be contributing to the mass healing of humanity and shit, but honestly, like it should not be draining me, right? So, again, it's on me. I should be asking for things in exchange. Well, finally learning. Yeah. And the next one, oh my God. It's also my favorite one. It's being an emotional dumpster for people. Mm. This is like so great, and it's connected to, like, they're all pretty much connected to each other. So I've had this experience when, again, like, some people say, and I really love this saying, become the person you needed when you were growing up. And I feel like I did become that person. If my younger versions of me met me now, I would actually be the person they really needed. And it's great and it's perfect. I really love this saying because it really resonates. But the toxicity of this thing is that I mean, honestly, like, I'm a person who is supportive, motivating, and all this shit. Um, Obviously, I was not the only one who needed a person like that growing up. um, and I just share it with other people too, because they're like, again, we're all traumatized. We all lacked love and support and motivation, and I just caught myself, and it's, like, it's important to be sharing your things, to have somebody listen to you. And I started becoming this person. I'm like, yeah, we all have lots of problems, we have lots of emotions. It's important to have a pair of ears. And I became the pair of ears to too many people at once, for little to no exchange back. And the thing is that in our material world, like, only the things only the things you can count, right? Like, you can count money, you can count material possessions. You go to work, you make money, you buy stuff. This is measured, this is easy. But when it comes to, to emotional, psychological, spiritual stuff, something that you cannot touch, you cannot see, you cannot measure, it kind of doesn't count. And I caught myself providing a lot of this emotional support that cannot be measured, um, to people who are basically measuring things that are material. And while I was helping them heal, while I was helping them feel safer, uh, they were still not really appreciating it. Because why would they, right? It's like, I offer this, it's my problem. Uh, no judgment, no, a lot of judgment, to be honest. And like, it's very draining to be, listening to other people's trauma, especially if these are people who don't want to do therapy, or who do therapy but it's really not working. And I'm just like, what the fuck. It took me a long time to realize that I became a free therapist for people, but because I am not a therapist, I'm not a licensed therapist, it kind of doesn't count. And they would go and pay money for a professional who's clearly absolutely useless and it's not helping in any way. But it feels safer to go and bring the resources to those people. And for me, well, I'm a friend, I'm supposed to do that, right. That's very simple. And then I just realized, and especially if it's a person who doesn't want to do therapy, I just realized, like, I have become this emotional dumpster for them. It was like years, decades of trauma dumped on me, and then, like, not counting it as any kind of work I'm actually doing with them. And it's just like, yeah, like, you're not gifting me anything, you're not doing anything for me. I'm listening to your shit. I'm helping you process your emotions. I'm doing something that is incredibly important. And then I realized that, well, if people don't appreciate it and don't realize it, then they will never appreciate it. And I will be just wasting my energy. And I would feel exhausted, of course, after listening for an hour or whatever, like an actual session to their shit, without getting anything back. And then I will have to figure out, okay, so I have less energy. How do I refuel my energy? And this is going to be happening outside that person. I will be, and then I would feel like I'm a good friend. They need an ear. Well, they have a lot of ears. They have a lot of people. And instead of fixing relationship with those people, they would just dump it on me and go and hang out and have fun and pretend that everything is fine with those people. I got myself in a situation when I was in a friendship with a person who literally used me as an emotional dumpster, but would basically not acknowledge me in public, which was kind of easy because we lived far away from each other for a long time. But when we started living closer, I was like, nobody would even tell, like, if people didn't know that we were friends, they would not even tell that we know each other to the extent of that. It's like, it took me a really long time to realize that something is off here. Something is wrong. And I'm like, okay, yeah, so but there's the person that this person has a crush on. So, of course, it's important for them to focus on that. I understand. And then that person would dump them, and I would just be listening to all this shit and all the emotional trauma and all the things that the therapist of this person is not doing. I would just be doing that to always hear that this person's schedule is fully booked months in advance with the people I'm assuming have no idea how much emotional baggage this person carries, or doesn't really carry that much because it's all dumped on me. And I feel like, oh, I'm a good friend. That's what people do for their friends. This is what friendship is like. Your heavy baggage is my heavy baggage. This is stupid. Like, this is not, their problems are their problems. I have a lot of my emotional baggage. And if we can find a balance with another person, another friend, where I can share this and they have the capacity to handle it, or they share something back, and we find our own balance that works for both of us, it's one thing. But when I literally was basically fixing the other person's relationships with other people at my own expense, when they would actively refuse to do fun friend things with me, to hang out, to just and I'm just like, I really don't, I cannot know for sure, but I'm assuming that those fun friends that they would do anything for, that they would hang out for, that they would change their plans for, they had no idea how much emotional baggage that person had. Because why to do that if there is this internet friend who can just take it all? And it felt like I was not really even seen as a real person. And then probably, yeah, it was not that much fun to meet me in person much, because I'm basically the reminder of all these heavy things this person has shared with me. And that makes sense, but I feel like it's super unfair to me. And yeah, so I think that has showed me that I am really slow at saying that somebody is basically like mistreating me, because it's not, like, it's not always that a person is actively doing something very bad. It's not that the person has to be hitting you, stealing from you, shouting at you, that is considered to be mistreatment. No, there are much kinder and calmer ways to mistreat people, including also not doing things. So, yeah, that felt like venting, because I don't do that. I don't do what this person or people did. Instead of dumping all of my emotional baggage on one person, well, I'm really happy that I actually have a few pairs of ears now who seem to be willingly um, listen to my venting sometimes. But I'm also very conscious about reminding them about the balance, so that whenever they feel that it's coming out of balance, that they let me know before it gets crazy. But I think it's also nice to just take it to the internet and just vent and let it out to the world. And maybe those people I was listening to too much, maybe they should do the same. I don't know. Well, thank you for listening to my venting. I'm pretty sure lots of people can relate to that. So please check out my other videos. I've made so many. I think I made 10 already. Yeah, that was my 10th video I posted last week. So I've made videos about my unpopular opinions about parent pleasing, people pleasing, love, romantic relationships, friendship, friend zone, part two, polyamory, having a crush, and breakups. And breakups is one word, not two words if it is a noun. Just a reminder in case you needed it. And this one is about my toxic traits. So let me know your toxic traits in the comments. And have a great year. And do not take your toxic traits into the new year. See you in the next videos.